Welcome to Ideagen TV. Today we are thrilled to have with us Heather Lux, Strategic Director at Microsoft. Heather, welcome.
Thank you. So honored to be here today.
You know, Heather, so exciting to hear your upcoming interview today. We're just thrilled. I am excited to see and hear all of the incredible insights and perspectives. And thank you for all you're doing at Microsoft.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, I am equally excited to be here today and joined by Duke Energy's Vice President of National Engagement Strategy, Chief Sustainability Officer, and President of the Duke Energy Foundation, Ms. Katherine Neebe. So welcome, Katherine.
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
I think that is about as many hats as one person can wear at any one organization. So congratulations. I'm sure, today we're really focused on the sustainability officer role, but talk to me a little bit about, your background and the journey that led you to this great opportunity at Duke Energy.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here and to speak with you. I'm relatively new at Duke Energy. I joined the company about 6 weeks ago. So I've been just really enjoying getting up to speed on all of the great work that Duke Energy is doing to provide reliable and affordable energy that is also clean to our customers. So it's been a really extraordinary first few weeks. But prior to Duke Energy, I have spent around 20 years working at the intersection between business and society. I think two jobs that are probably most relevant for this community of folks. I spent about 6.5 years at the World Wildlife Fund, where I ran a global partnership with Coca-Cola focused on fresh water. And then 7 years, most recently at Walmart, where I did a lot of work on stakeholder engagement, sustainability, and also ESG, which is certainly emerging as the topic of the day. And what I really appreciate and enjoyed about those last few roles was just the critical role that we're seeing ESG issues and sustainability play as we look to the future. And so when I was with WWF, we focused with Coca-Cola on freshwater conservation. As I'm sure you can appreciate, water is the primary ingredient in everything that Coca-Cola manufactures. So it was really important to them as a company that they had water in the ground, not only for their business, but also for the communities where they operated. So we tackled projects with them, looking at everything from the World Wildlife Fund's kind of bread and butter, which is water conservation, but also water efficiency, energy efficiency, a whole host of different topics. And then when I went over to Walmart, their mission is really to help people save money and live better. There is a lot of talk in the media about Walmart's effort to help people save money. But I was really focused on that other side of the coin, which is really helping people live better and thinking through all of the tools that a company at Walmart's size and scale can really help to do to create an enabling environment for business and for society. Which now takes me over to Duke Energy. When they called and said they were interested in having me come over, the opportunity to really help them accelerate their journey on not only this reliable and affordable power, but also with an eye towards these massive challenges ahead of us, like climate change, was just extraordinary. And to contribute to Duke Energy's journey in that way, in that capacity, was just an outstanding opportunity.
Fantastic. I think it definitely seems to key in on one area that you show a lot of passion about in your past career and in taking and stepping into this role, and that is environmental sustainability. So were you just born with that, or was that something that cultivated throughout your career, or was there any specific moments that helped you develop that passion, or how would you describe that?
I would say it's a lot of different things. I grew up in North Carolina. I went to undergrad in Colorado. So growing up, any opportunity to get outside and go hiking or camping and just spend time in nature, and the resiliency and the power of nature was just so powerful to me and so important to me. But Unlike, I think, some people, I don't know that I had a core vision when I was in my 20s, certainly not my early 20s, about what I wanted to do with my life. I was a kind of classic liberal arts student, interested in a whole lot of different things and not sure how they all intersected or would come together. And I got my first job in the field of sustainability back in 2000. And this is back when sustainability was a handful of concepts, and a few companies were doing some really interesting work. But it was really at the dawn of what I would refer to as kind of the corporate interest in sustainability. And I got started working for a very small consulting company that was focused on bringing energy efficient products to the market. And so they were working with utilities, with nonprofit organizations, with energy efficiency alliances, with retailers like Walmart. And so right now in Duke Energy, it feels like my career has really come full circle because I'm kind of back in that world. But what we were doing at that consulting company was really trying to align all of these different interests and all of these different incentives towards an outcome that everyone could kind of get behind. So for utilities, there was a lot of interest in demand side management. Retailers, they were interested in selling products. Nonprofit organizations were really interested in trying to figure out how do we get people to do things that will have better outcomes for planet. And the beauty of that particular role, particularly in the early phase of sustainability, was it was okay that everyone had slightly different interests and slightly different outcomes and slightly different language, as long as we could kind of get together on that journey together and drive towards outcomes. And now what you'll see that kind of referred to is this notion called shared value, but it really is how do you align business outcome and business value with societal value and societal outcome.
Terrific. Yeah, I love that you kind of take the edge off of the conversation by letting it be okay for us to all still be figuring this out together. I think that's key to welcoming more people into the conversation in each of their roles. Katherine, as you know, we're just a few of the folks that are assembled this week to talk about some of the most complex global challenges that we face as a society. Share, if you would, a little bit about your perspective on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
Well, first off, I would just like to make a note that I'm used to being up in New York this particular week and running back and forth from building to building to meeting to meeting to event. So I find it a little bit refreshing that we're actually doing this virtually. It means that I'm on time for all of the different events as opposed to the past few years. But what I love about the Sustainable Development Goals is that they provide a roadmap for everyone, every type of organization, to align on kind of the outcomes that we would like to see society deliver, be it a religious institution, a member of civil society, government leaders, members of industry like myself. And I think one of the things that is so powerful about them is there are 17 discrete and concrete goals with supporting targets underneath them. In the spirit of what you measure matters, it really helps provide a clarity of vision and a strength of purpose for all of us as we move forward.
Yeah, could not agree more. I think, it's just so exciting to be able to participate and be some of those voices, delivering some of the thought leadership around how we together as members of industry can help frame up some of the solutions in these areas. I really think, in Microsoft, we take a lot of pride in making sure that we're always intersecting, as you talked about earlier, business and strategy. We also see that intersection of innovation and sustainability. And one of the things we're saying at both of our organizations is that efforts are going to be needed to drive the cost down. We have to scale up on the other side in terms of deployment. So talk to me a little bit now, if you will, in your Chief Sustainability Officer at Duke Energy role. How do you see Duke playing a pivotal role in delivering some of the innovation around clean energy?
Well, first, going back to the previous question, when I look across all of the Sustainable Development Goals, the connective tissue that runs across our ability to achieve them relies upon the ability for us to provide reliable and affordable and clean power to people. So for me, key to how we advance economic growth, social equity, sustainability, and how we really deliver all of these goals meaningfully is lost without reliable, affordable, clean power. And so Duke Energy is one of the largest utilities in the United States, I think has an opportunity to set an example of how you take the utility sector forward through this journey of trying to address climate change and at the same time provide people with the power. And I think more so now than ever, as we're thinking about, as we're in the midst of a pandemic, as we're thinking about how do we build back just the essential role that power providers like Duke Energy can really play here. And as I think about some of the aspirations that Duke Energy has set in terms of having our CO2 emissions by 2030, zero net emissions by 2050 against a 2005 benchmark, or baseline, I think that this is a huge opportunity for Duke Energy to really think through how do we get from A to B to Z in a way that is just going to work for all of our stakeholders. And we've had some good progress where our emissions are down 39% since 2005. I think really ahead of some of the industry. So I think we've got some good history, some good runway behind us. A lot more that we need to be doing in the future. But I'm really excited to help. And you spoke, Heather, about innovation. And when I think about how are we going to help think through this huge challenge of providing people with power and at the same time mitigating impacts, the role of innovation is going to be absolutely critical to unlock and enable us to meet these goals.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you and I both have unique opportunities within the organizations that we serve to, amplify and accelerate all of the efforts around affordable and clean energy. But I don't want to mistake that everybody has a role to play in this challenge. And, whether it's in your life as a consumer or in your role in the community, or certainly within the workforce or student population, everyone needs to take action on this sustainable goal. So what advice would you give to people in all of those different, and somebody who wears many hats, what would you advise the students, the people in the workforce, the business leaders, and community leaders today to be doing to contribute to delivering clean and affordable energy?
Heather, if we were in an auditorium and you were speaking, I would be standing up cheering loudly because I could not agree more. I often speak to students, graduate students and undergraduate students who are really trying to figure out what is their path forward. Mm-hmm. And they always feel like they're trying to debate between doing something good and making money. Mm-hmm. And they need kind of the word sustainability in their title to have the opportunity to actually make an impact. And I refuse to to buy into that argument. I think you can do good and make money. I think that's the whole purpose of kind of shared values. How do you have that economic lever in addition to social and in addition to environmental? And at that same time, you don't need to wait for permission to incorporate sustainability or ESG into your day-to-day function, whether or not you're a member of civil society or industry or in government. This is key for all of us to solve for and to think through and to problem solve for. And you don't need permission. You don't need it in your title. You just need to wake up and start doing.
I love that. I think that really, that challenges people to stop thinking about their role in its contextual title, but rather, rethink it. And if we've learned anything over these past few months, it's that we can all do things differently, even when we thought we couldn't. So I love that you're, leading that conversation and that thread around, everyone's welcome to play a role and contribute to this conversation, irrespective of what title they wear or where they are in their unique positions in the world. So thank you so much for opening that door to everyone on this topic. I'm so excited that you're a part of Duke Energy and thrilled to see and watch everything that you'll be leading going forward. And I hope that you'll come back and join us again to share some of that journey as we hit some good milestones along the way. So thank you once again, and thank you to Ideagen for hosting us today. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be here together.